Good evening. I was going to be doing another video first, but after seeing this one, I just have to get with this one real quick. Black women, it is becoming so clear, with these black men. Now, the discrimination, that we're facing, we're never going to, there's not going to be no black unity. I'm just going to say that. I got a video here that I had came across while I was setting up to do the other videos that I'm going to do this evening. We're not allowed. Black women, we are being cast out. And black men are the front line. And they are most instrumental, in that, in us being cast out. In this expurgation. There's this video here that's going viral with Cardi B. And this is at a club, Club 11, that's in Miami. And I tell you, the way things are and the anti-black woman sentiment that is festering and permeating throughout our society, the black man is like the new Jim Crow for the black woman. I'm going to go ahead and play this video, and then I'm going to give my commentary with its regards.
Welcome back to my channel, Mother Suckers. Hey, happy holidays. A few of you guys tagged me in this story, so I decided to bring it here to my channel. So if you didn't know, Cardi B pulled up to a strip club last night in Miami with her husband, Offset. As she was walking in, a group of black women were standing outside saying, Cardi B, they're not letting the black women in. And Cardi B began to go back and forth with the bouncers and say, let the black women in. So I'm going to show you two different angles of this altercation and come back with the rest of my comments.
They're not even letting the sisters in tonight, girl. They're not even letting the sisters in. At the front door, they're not even all white girls. No black women. A lot of you play football here and you let us in. Who didn't try to take it? I heard us how they do.
This video came from I'm Iho. I know I'm mispronouncing it. The video was sent to her and I just came across it. So I just want to point that out where this video came from. This is really...
According to several articles, Cardi B refused to go inside and she refused to perform until they let the black women in. So the bouncers let them in and Cardi B went in and performed. Now, y'all know I am not biased over here. I don't hate anybody over here. I just speak on the facts. And I do want to say shout out to Cardi for taking a stand at the door and saying let the black women in. As you can see, there were multiple black men at the door. who are not letting the black women in. I'm sure there were multiple black men going into the club who said nothing. Black men don't say anything when black women are treated injusticely because of our skin tone and features, right? So for Cardi B to walk in and stop and say, wait a minute, why y'all not letting the black women in? Let the black women in. I gotta give her kudos for that. She could have did what everybody else does and just keep walking, act like they don't hear their fans, act like they don't see the problem with society, and just kept walking in, go collect her check and bounce. Now, many of us remember the anti-black things that Cardi has said herself in the past, but two things can be true at once. Cardi B has also spoken out about colorism in New York City strip clubs with the black strippers and how it's not fair that New York City doesn't hire black strippers and black bottle girls. So I don't think this is a moment of Cardi B pandering. This is basically on brand for Cardi B. She was going into the club. She saw the black women that weren't allowed to go in. And she's like, wait a minute, why y'all not letting black women in? Now, with all that being said, like I said, two things can be true at once. I know Cardi B be in these YouTube streets, so I hope she watches this video, right? Cardi, I personally feel like you would have made a greater impact if you said, y'all don't let black women in here? Oh, I don't rock with y'all. I'm not even performing here. I'm out. You know what? Take those black women with you and y'all go party somewhere else. Y'all go to another strip club. And instead of the headlines being Cardi B forces doorman to let black women in, which I'm sorry, I got secondhand embarrassment. We're going to get to that. But instead of the headline saying Cardi B forces, doorman to let black women in, the headlines could have been Cardi B leaves club after learning that they don't let black women in. Do you see the difference? Because a lot of people are saying this is a political move, but it could have had more impact had y'all not still given those racist and anti-black and colorist businesses more money, more popularity, and more business. Now, I can tell that she was tipsy, and she did tweet that she went to 4 parties in one night, but you could tell she was tipsy by the way she said, let the black woman in here. Let them in here. But yeah, it's 2021, and what has really changed? What has really changed except black people have a little bit more money, a little bit more power, but the same injustices towards black women remain the same. Now, black women, let me talk to y'all for a second. Were all of y'all drunk at that spot? Did y'all pull up drunk and tipsy? Just let me know. Just say, Liddy, I was out of my mind. You know me, girl. I would have never, because it's given Danny Lee and the baby. It's given he don't want you here, and you still fighting to get in, or you still fighting to stay. See, this is embarrassing. Are you not embarrassed? I had secondhand embarrassment watching them chant, let us in, let us in. Oh my God. Nah. I really hope y'all was drunk. I really want this to go away. But we do have to speak on this. We have to speak on this, ladies. A lot of these clubs are racist, are colorist. They discriminate on height, on weight, literally. From New York to Miami to California, this is what they do. And for you to be at the door begging and chanting and waiting in the cold, baby girl, no. Absolutely not. Don't bring this type of energy into 2022. Don't bring this into your new year. Let this be the last time you beg and chant and wait and beg and go back and forth to get into a spot that you are giving them your money. It's not like they're paying you, you're paying them. So you're giving your black dollars to a business.
Take a look at this extraordinary footage from a TV show in 1958 hosted by Groucho Marx.
Sorry about that, ladies.
The name of the club is 11. Twitter, y'all know what to do. Y'all know what to do, okay? I highly recommend that black people boycott 11. We need to stand up for black women. Boycott this club because they refuse to let black women in. Spread the word. We are boycotting 11 in Miami because they are racist, colorist, and misogynistic. And it's really unfortunate for them that this is still happening because honestly, black women spend money like drug dealers. Okay, we got a bag and we ready to pop some bottles, but no.
If you notice in this photo right here, you don't see none of us in the shot.
We're not giving you our money. And you guys know I'm from New York. I remember modeling in New York and going to the after parties and the clubs. And, you know, the black models, we had to be a dime. We had to be, I remember, you know, my friend being like, listen, wear your highest heels, your shortest dress, make sure your face is beat, make sure there's not a hair out of place, because we were getting into the top clubs in New York City. And even then we had to wait a little bit online, and you would see these average, frumpy, dumpy, mediocre, basic white girls with flats and flip-flops on walking into the club with no problem, but it would take you a little 10 minutes to get in. You know what I mean? And it was just like, even back then, you could tell that there was racism and discrimination against black women. And again, you had to be a size 2, you had to be tall, you had to be model-esque, and you had to know somebody who knew somebody to get in. And a lot of times I would look around and me and my friend were the only black girls in the clubs, like One Oak, you know? We were the only black girls around, and it's like, you know, the white people in the club would look at us like, yeah, y'all must be somebody if y'all in here, because they don't let black people in. And that's when I said, you know what, let me stop coming to these shits. Like, fuck y'all.
I was 26 years old, sitting in line in a very exclusive Los Angeles club. I live in Los Angeles. And I was with two light-skinned girls and one white girl. And we're walking into the club, and a very famous R&B singer, okay, walked up to me and looked at my girl, said, you can get in, but no darkies. I kept walking because I was like, huh? He said, I said, no darkies. And I was literally escorted off the property. Let's just say, in that particular day, my dating preferences completely changed. And I just want to say to him, look at me now.
I know y'all remember this woman earlier this year. She came out and shared her story with Chris Brown kicking her out of the section. You know, so this is nothing new. Black women, we already know. If you've been out before, you know, if you've been to these larger clubs, you know what goes on. You know they like the light, bright, and white. You know, especially when celebrities are in the building, you know it's going to be some segregation and coloration going on, okay? You know, and this woman came out and spoke on her story, and, you know, Chris Brown was under fire for that. Like, this happens every single day. So it's getting to the point where it's like, okay, we have to make the change. We have to be the ones that's like, all right, I'm not even going. I don't want to be here, because at the end of the day, all them bitches in there want to be black anyway. So, bitch, I ain't giving you no free promo, no free inspiration, so you can see what I got on and go running. No, I'm good. You know, it starts at the top and it trickles down to the bottom, from the owners to the managers, you know, to the celebrities. It's men. It's the men, okay? But there's a lot to be learned from this situation, and I'm glad it was recorded, and I'm glad you guys tagged me into this, because I didn't see the story at all, but I'm glad that I was tagged and we can have this conversation. So let me know what you thought of this situation down in the comment section. Do you feel like Cardi was being genuine and, you know, she did the right thing by stopping, hearing out her fans, and demanding that they let those women in? How do you feel about black women waiting online at these clubs and begging to get in? Y'all, be sure to like this video, leave a comment, and let me know what you think. Check out my Vlogmas series. I got a lot of holiday content coming. Thank you guys so much who supported thus far. I don't know if it's not flowing through the algorithm.
Okay, I'm going to give my commentary, and I'm going to give a bit of history, you know, on this type of practice. Okay, I just want to start out by saying this is not new. This is not some phenomenon, ladies. This kind of colorism, we know it's been going on for 500 years. But as far as getting into establishments, you know, such as what we got going on here with clubs of today, okay, this has been going on for almost 100 years. You know, in modern history. Now, to give you a background history on this type of practice, you had like Ella Fitzgerald. Ella Fitzgerald, jazz, blues singer, the whole bit. she had a very dear friend. And that dear friend is screen goddess, screen legend, blonde bombshell, none other than Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe was her dear friend. Not only that, Marilyn Monroe, like Marlon Brando, like Orson Welles, like Betty White, like James Dean, they're what you call an Ava Gardner, Frank Sinatra. These people are what you call colored friendly. This is what they were called, back, in the 30s and 40s, 50s, and what have you, back in that time period. Now, with regards to Ella Fitzgerald, she wasn't allowed to perform in a particular club because she was black. And Marilyn Monroe got wind of it. And Marilyn Monroe went to, I think it was Radio City Music Hall, one of these big shot clubs. And Marilyn Monroe went to the owner and she used her star power. She said, if you let Ella perform here, I will come here every night and I will sit right in the front. So Marilyn Monroe taking that stand, for Ella Fitzgerald, for a black woman, that catapulted Ella Fitzgerald's career. Because no one was really able to see what this woman had. Her vocals ability, because she was black. So the mainstream, because she was locked out of mainstream wasn't privy to her talent. But Marilyn Monroe taking that stand, so this here, what we got going on with Cardi B today, is kind of similar. It's the same type of, it's like history revisited. Because that, you go back 60, 70 years, this is what took place. And Marilyn Monroe kept her word. They let Ella perform. Place ended up selling out. She blew the roof off the joint. And every day that Ella was performing, Marilyn Monroe kept her promise and she showed up. And see, that started a new industry because you have a lot of club owners who would pay some serious money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, for celebrities to come to their clubs. Because celebrities, and with their star power, they bring in customers, they bring in the clientele. And with customers and clientele comes money. So this was something that got started. Back then, we just didn't know what it was or what it was going to catapult to. But this here is what went on. And speaking of Marilyn Monroe, she has another dear friend who was her best friend, her bestie. And that friend of hers is that beautiful black actress who was so beautiful, she couldn't play Mammy. She was the woman that Hollywood didn't know what to do with because of her regal beauty. And that woman is the late Dorothy Dandridge. Okay? So, Marlon Brando and James Dean and Marilyn Monroe, they would all routinely take aggressive steps to protect Dorothy Dandridge from racism, in Hollywood. And so these are like untold stories, really, because when you talk about Marilyn Monroe and when you look at Marilyn Monroe's biography, there is no mention in Marilyn Monroe's biography about her best friends who were black. Her and Dorothy Dandridge, they were very, very close, talked all the time on the phone. They even marveled at how their first and last names had the same initials. Dee Dee and Eminem. You know, so they would marvel at their two beautiful women. And if you really look at them, they had a resemblance. But it was Marilyn who was taking on Dorothy Dandridge's appearance. You have to look at some of their pictures. The resemblance is there. But they never talk about her friendships with people like Dorothy Dandridge and with Ella Fitzgerald. You know, Eartha Kitt, there are others. They don't talk about. Just like with Paul Newman and James Dean. Also, you know, were what you would consider color friendly. And had a little appetite for chocolate too. But these are things that they didn't talk about. You had now Marlon Brando, he was more outwardly bold about his preference for women of color. And at the Oscars, I believe it was in '54, where he kissed Dorothy Dandridge square on the lips when she was being nominated for Carmen. I'm maybe 1954. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that year. But I'm not really prepared because I wasn't expecting to come across this video. But I just want to address it. So here we are, 70 years later. Same thing. Same thing going on. 70 years later. Now you got black women can't get into clubs. Because it's like the paper bag test of the 1920s. You know, the turn of the century and the 1920s and 30s and 40s, where you had the paper bag test. This here is also remnants of that. If you're not lighter than a brown paper bag, if you're not the color or lighter than a brown paper bag, you can't get in the clubs. And blacks was doing that. Blacks were totally guilty of that. They was doing that big time in Louisiana, you know, and other parts of the South. You know, this was widely practiced, that paper bag test. Same thing with getting into fraternities and sororities. You had this paper bag test that was going on. And this right here, ladies, what we see going on here with Cardi B, with this Club 11 in Miami, this was the paper bag test. That's what this was. That's what this is. So it just goes to show you how our history, you know, it really isn't history because it's still going on. So we can't say this is in the past. How is it in the past when it's still happening? This was the paper bag test. This right here. So if you're a quote unquote darky, you know, as per Chris Brown, who was in the club out here in Los Angeles, one of the most color-struck states in the union, if not the world, and that young lady went into that club. She went to that club and had two light-skinned friends, her and a white woman. Now, one thing she didn't share, because I heard it in its entirety, the two light-skinned girls and the white girls who was at the club with her, they went on into the club. They went into the club and left her out there. When Chris Brown came to her, you can get in, and you can get in, she cannot get in. And it didn't register to her. That's why she kept walking, because it didn't register to her that he was talking to her too. It didn't register. But oh yeah, look what happened. She was not allowed to go into the club. Wasn't allowed in. But her so-called quote unquote friends, the two light-skinned chicks and the white chick, oh no. They went right on in the club and forsook their sister. Just kicked her to the curb. Oh, they wouldn't have been my friends after that. There's no apology that they could have offered up to me. There wouldn't have been nothing that they could say to me about anything. So you see, black women, we must divest. We must move on. We have to. We can no longer worry about, concern ourselves, or give any damn about what people think about the moves that we're making for ourselves and our lives. This is all a part of the matrix. This is just being played out over again. This is just a repeat of what has been going on for the last 120 years. This mess has been going on. The paper bag test, the whole passing for white, all of that. All of this here, what we saw in this video, ladies, this is a current event that's based on what's been going on throughout history for the last 100 and some odd years. With white celebrities who use their star power to help their colored friends to be able to get into and perform in places at venues that they wouldn't be allowed to get into or perform at otherwise. So you have these color-friendly white celebrities who use their star power, for them to get access. So they became that path to access. And that helped their careers. So we've had that now, your paper bag test, the sororities, fraternities, they do it. You got some fraternities out here and sororities. There's one sorority in particular, I shall not name, that was doing that paper bag deal, that you had to be light-skinned to pledge to that particular sorority that I won't name. But you could do the research and research the history of all the black sororities. And it shouldn't be hard to find. But this is what we got going on. This is what's still going on. Black women, since we are being forsaken, continue to be forsaken, and will continue to be forsaken, what's our problem? I wouldn't have gone into the club. I would have got my video footage and everything, and I would have sent it to every goddamn outlet out here that I know of. I would have put them on global blast. That's what I would have did. But there's no way I would have gone into that club. Now, Cardi B could have went to another club and left, but she's making her paper. Because here's the thing. When celebrities go to these clubs, the clubs pay them. They pay them because they're bringing the business. So Cardi B would have got paid for making it, just for appearing. Even if she didn't perform, she still would have got paid. Just by her mere presence. Just by her being there. But then she performed, so that's a bonus. Cardi B, yeah, it would have been a greater impact had she just said, well, we're going to find us another club. Come on, sis. Come on, sisters. If she would have went to another club and partied and performed with those black women who went a lot of that club, that would have set a serious, man, that just would have been, that would have went into the stratosphere. That would have went so far up into that stratosphere, straight up. That would have been cool. But, she was working. She showed up at the club and to perform. Yeah, she could have walked away and went to another club. And any club she would have went to, they would have paid her. They would have paid her. So black women, we just have to understand that civil rights has never really included us. Hell, we're not even included now. Given the rate of how many black women have gotten killed, been murdered this year at the hands of other black men, black women stand a higher chance of being killed by a black man than she does a police officer. Or even a white supremacist for that matter. Or anybody else. So we're going to have to forsake all these, like it says about when a man marries his wife, he forsake all others and cleave on to his wife. Well, we're going to have to cleave on to ourselves. You know, we're going to have to forsake all these other folks. Why not? They're forsaking us. Like I said earlier, they always have and always will. This stuff right here is permanently, historically in effect. And it's always going to be. If it haven't changed in 100 years, and when you look at the way colorism has the apex that it is at right now, since we no longer have miscegenation laws that can keep interracial marriages and pregnancies in check. So this stuff is just getting to a higher level. So we're going to have to be like, the heck with folks. That's what we're going to have to do. You folks ain't giving any damn about us. We just cannot continue it. I was trying to talk to someone, and of course it didn't go over well because this person still have handmaiden tendencies. She's made some little changes, but not enough. And we have to do away with that not all black men rhetoric. Because at this club, you had a lot of black men. Oh, they're walking into that club. Do you think any of them said anything? Or stood up for black women? Or decided not to go in there if they're not letting black women in? No. No, they didn't. They walked right on in there. Black men has vengeance against black women and hate. Misogynoir, hey, that is the order of the day. And we're going to have to be cognizant of that. Regardless of the ugly that goes along with it, we're just going to have to be cognizant of that fact. This is real live here. This is what's going on. It's in our face. It can't get any more clear than it is. You got black women holding out. Forget that holding out hope. How you going to hold out hope for quote unquote black love or whatever when these men have made it crystal clear that they hate us? We're not light enough. Our hair is too nappy. We're too dark. We're this, we're that. I refuse to sit up here and hold out any kind of hope to be dealing with a demographic of men who has long made it clear that I'm a reject. They hate our guts. Misogynoir, hatred of black women. Hello? We got to get clued in here, ladies. Those who want to continue to hold out hope that they can get a black man on, hey, go right ahead, honey. Forget a BMW, honey. I'll settle for a Bentley. And the reason why I said, because what's a BMW? Black man working. Y'all can have it. Y'all can have it. Those who want to still ride along that self-defeating train, go right ahead. Let us know how that works out for you. I know some sisters out here that's holding out for a black man. I just refuse to do it. There's just no way that I would know. For what? You got a better chance of hitting the lottery twice than to be having something meaningful with a black man. So, hey, I'll take my chance with the lottery. Ain't worth it. Yeah, better chance he would get struck by lightning. It's that bad. That's where it's at. They done made it clear. My thing is this here. Once it is made clear to me, and I'm speaking for me personally, once it is made clear to me that I'm not accepted because of what I look like or my skin color, I will shift and go into another direction and not look back. We're gonna have to go in that direction, ladies. So I just had to put this video up. I just came across it and I'm just like, what in the world? So I just had to do this video so I can give y'all my commentary on it and also share some historical, light on this situation, on this topic, on this practice. So if you like this video, please hit that like button and hit share and subscribe. So there'll be more to come. So let's just continue to be aware and to be safe and to be cognizant and realize and recognize that we need to go into a direction that's going to suit us best. More to come.